Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How blessed we are today to have this greet us. And I know that in preparing for today's lecture, I considered many of the different times that grace has visited me. I think one of the first things that came to me was, as a child growing up, I often felt insecure in new situations. And if I were greeted with someone who was gracious, it caused me to feel at ease. It caused me to not necessarily have all my jitters go away, but it certainly allowed me to at least be engaged with the person who was being gracious with me. Grace is an amazing experience when you open yourself to it and allow its presence to actually embrace you. And what we're speaking of today is the grace of holding space. But that can be confusing at times too, because what do? What is holding space? Well, consider when you come into a new situation and you're ill at ease and you meet someone who greets you with their graciousness. Right away you feel no judgment. You feel they're just simply accepting you for what you are. So if you're ever going to, and there will be times, put into practice holding space for someone, realize that that really means being present with them and not judging. You know, it can happen with friends, it can happen with family, it can happen with clients. I know a lot of you work with people and people come to you with their situations, their problems, and many times what they want to do is simply tell their story. Sometimes they may want you to fix whatever's going on for them, but they, generally speaking, first and foremost, want to get this out of them. So, while you may be physically embracing someone who's just experienced something and they're really letting it flow, many times it can happen when you're not that physically in contact with them. It may be over the phone, maybe something that you're hearing about for the first time. Hold space is opening your heart so that you can witness and not solve their issue. I've been a counselor for so many years, and it has taken me a number of years to figure it out. And that is, I'm not there to solve anyone's problem. As a matter of fact, the times that I have often stepped beyond those boundaries, I've found that it was resented. You really want to hear about it. And after a while, I got it. The whole space is really to be present with someone, and with that grace, let them know you're not alone. You're not alone in this. You give compassionate support to them, and that right there, that can give them the courage that they need to face whatever it is that they're needing to face, or bear whatever it is that they're needing to bear. Sometimes we feel like it's important for us to try to determine for another, but really, you stop and think about it, it's for someone to determine for themselves what they should resolve and feel what perhaps they're avoiding feeling, so that then they can get that. It's almost like you make a visceral contact with yourself, that because someone else is there with you and for you, You find the courage and the determination, everything, and then you're able to actually feel it. We're speaking grace? Absolutely, we're speaking grace. We're speaking that next dimensional reality where we actually move beyond our competitiveness, our criticism, and we move to another degree of embracing one another. Many people that I have met in my life, including myself, have had difficulty with believing in self, believing in your own intuition, believing in your own intelligence. I know. Let yourself feel this. Because you see, we're really cutting to a deeper level of what goes on within us, what goes on at a subconscious level that often we are struggling with as ego. When you're with someone, of course, many times you feel like, okay, I need to do something to help them. And I encourage you, only give them as much information as they can handle. It's really important to realize people are needing to discover things for themselves. You're not trying to take their power away, but really to empower them. Allow them to make their own choices. And that goes to the point of realizing if somebody is at a place where you are working with them at this deep and intense level, they're going to try out different things which may result in mistakes. Give them that support to realize, hey, it's okay. You make a mistake, NBD. That's almost like a BLT, but not really. I notice you're getting very serious with this. Keep your ego out of it. If you think another's achievement is dependent upon you, then you can be sure that's your ego wanting to get in there and strut about. Okay. Now, I've spoken of ego here several times as an aside. But you see, my ego, when I approach it with the grace of holding space, I have a presence with it that says to my ego, I'm not here to solve your problem. I'm not here to take care of you like I've done so many thousands of times in the past. And I'm also not here to judge you, condemn you, criticize you, kick you around the block. I'm here to simply hold space with you because I know you have the intelligence and the wherewithal to make any kind of positive change without my attempting to make it for you. You see, we're entering into another kind of relationship with ourselves and with one another, where we realize we are much more than we have at to this point accepted. We really are brilliant. We really are wise. And this includes the parts of us that up to now we have considered to be so troublesome. So if you allow yourself to tap into you at a place where you feel you're capable of being gracious with you, you're going to find that there is much less resistance that exists then between you and you. And that's because, number one, you're not generating it as you used to. And number two, because it's not being offered up, ego has to go to another place in itself to come to solution. And you know the same is true with each and every one of us when we're working with others. Yes, there may be experiential wisdom that you have gained because you've beat your head up against the wall so many times that you know it hurts. But sometimes others just need to try it out a few times for themselves. There will always be a wall available. And you can trust their inner wisdom to get it. Because you see, we have that attending teacher with us called suffering. And if we follow its lead, it's going to take us to a place to where we choose to recognize we don't have to go there and continue to go there. We can upgrade it by being gracious with ourselves and hold that gracious space that we're really looking for. Thank you for your attention. For more information about the Metaphysical Church of Enlightenment or the Rodin Foundation, please go to our website at www.rodin.org. If you have been inspired by the revelations shared in these podcasts, please donate to the Rodin Foundation's ongoing efforts to help others help themselves at www.rodin.org/donate.